Well, it is a Friday morning, March 10th, 2017. Let's give you a rundown on some of our Alaska stories today. Did you know that here in the beginning of March, the Homer Harbor was blocked by ice? Yeah, they're saying that people couldn't get through, and it looks like it's likely to get even worse because more wind is pretty likely to come in with more tides, higher tides, more ice. Yes, global warming at work here. An alert neighbor in Juneau helped nab a suspected burglar, basically noticed somebody coming out of a neighbor's house that wasn't the neighbor, knowing the neighbor wasn't home, was like, this guy's got a mask on and is carrying a couple bags. I'm going to call the cops. And when the cops came, they contacted the person and then also investigated and found that the back door of the residence had been kicked in. Sure enough, the resident got home and said, my stuff's missing. Guess what? Burglar went to jail. Looks like we've got residents in the Kenai area seeking a recall for their city council members. You remember that inclusionary resolution that they had last week? That was actually a lot of folks come out to just excoriate them for doing it. And it wasn't because it was about including, it was because a lot of the language that they had was anti-Trump. And so here's the main accusation of why they want to recall, is that they were inserting politics into their job as city council members. City council members are politicians, right? Just curious. A bill that would protect the permanent fund dividend has advanced the Senate Judiciary Committee, so it is moving through. And we've got some updates for you from the Iditarod. It's like we've got a scratch and a couple of minor frostbitten hands and chilled feet, but generally speaking, they are doing fairly well. You can read about that in a number of different sources, and you can see those sources at radiofreespeech.com. House Bill 155 would support an alternative to logging Ketchikan's iconic Deer Mountain. This is something that, of course, the land is held by the Alaska Mental Health Trust Authority, the idea being that the land that they hold, they're supposed to make money off of. And, of course, you sell logging on these lands, then it makes money, and that money goes to help everybody from Alzheimer's to brain injuries. And that's the whole point of it. Now, House Bill 155 would allow the land that is being held by the Alaska Mental Health Trust Authority to be exchanged with some federal land so that basically they can still do the logging and make the money, but preserve the iconic Deer Mountain nature. Also, a number of tribal leaders meeting in Bethel this week to work on alcohol problems and other regional issues. They're saying that they've seen a strong uptick in domestic violence, in drunkenness, in general misbehavior. A number of them are blaming the new liquor store. Other folks have pointed out, hey, look, these numbers have been on the rise for decades anyway. The presence of this store isn't particularly giving any impetus to this. And at this meeting, a lot of empty chairs, of course, and virtually no young people. The bill offering the PFD back to the Fairbanks Four has gained traction in the Alaska Legislature, and it looks like we've got the Fairbanks Borough Assembly considering wider buffer zones between marijuana businesses and technical and trade schools. Also, the Matsu Assembly is going to be reconsidering the trap ban that they passed this week. One of the council members who voted for it had then put in a notice the next day for a reconsideration, which means it will come up at their next meeting on March 21st. And there's a hearing that was held yesterday in that lawsuit challenging the new name of the town formerly known as Barrow. Remember, the voters changed it to Utqiagvik. It was 6-vote margin, and the folks who lost are suing. And lastly, Alaska's Senators Murkowski and Sullivan are basically putting their foot down. They signed a letter saying, we do not support the proposed cuts to the Coast Guard budget. That's what we've got for our Alaska News today. If you like what I'm doing, please support me either on Patreon or through buying a direct subscription at radiofreespeech.com. Remember, you'll look at the website and you'll see a whole bunch more references to news than what I cover in this little 3 to 5 minute video. You'll find the rest of that in the 30-minute version that I email directly to my paid subscribers. If you'd like to listen to news, say on your way to work, all you have to do is download it. It comes in at 5 in the morning directly to your inbox. You can put it on your iPod and listen on the way to work and get a full half an hour of national and Alaska news. Best, most complete news you'll get anywhere. And I'm not just saying that because I do it. Anyway, check it out, radiofreespeech.com.